Exist Kind investigates all the ways that we could, can, and do exist more harmoniously with each other and our environment. And tonight, I have with me Salinas Ruth from Global Family Legal Services, and it's located in Tubac. And I'm just now getting to know her, and I'm really impressed. So you have your office in Tubac, and you've just been started recently. Is that not correct?
Yes, it is. In the last few months, we've actually opened an office there, and we moved from northern Arizona, where we were having a practice primarily in immigration law. But now that we've moved down to Tubac, we've broadened our horizons a little bit. Mm-hmm. We do have a lot of immigration law, but we have a lot of other things that we're practicing too.
So you say you're doing a lot. Okay, well then, can you tell me just a little bit about what Global Family does?
Well, when we moved to the area, we primarily were moving in with the idea of finding out what was needed there. We really didn't know. It was a totally new area right next to the border, and we thought probably there would be quite a bit of requirements for immigration law, but we're finding that there's a lot of other things that people are in need of as well. So we've been doing immigration law, family immigration primarily, but also we have found that there's a lot of domestic violence in the area, so we're doing a lot of family law with the domestic violence, abuse issues. We're also reaching out to the elderly and making home visits and doing work with hospice patients. There are a lot of people that find need at that time of their life, and so we can actually do house calls and be mobile and help people that are trying to find closure with various kinds of legal issues at that time.
That sounds like a lot of services. But I got to ask you, because I know I was told, but you are associated with a church. Is that not correct?
Yes, it is. We started 5 years ago, and we're sponsored by Global Community Communications Alliance, and we're founded by the founders of that church, Gabriel of Urantia and Neon of Solana. And so we are working as an outreach ministry, so to speak, of the church. And everybody who works in our office is actually a volunteer and a member of that church and a member of the religious order as well.
But I must say, I have to say that my experiences with you is that you're very open to helping all people.
Oh, absolutely.
And, yeah, I haven't experienced any kind of indoctrination that I didn't want or anything like that. I just had to put that out there so that the audience will know that, so that they'll feel free to come to you and ask for your services.
Oh, absolutely. We're a nonprofit.
Right.
And we seek primarily to help those people who don't have access to justice. And so we're a little bit different in terms of our law offerings because of that reason. We primarily serve a lot of people that are lower income, but we also are very broad spectrum because we can serve people from all walks of life.
So you're very close to the border.
Yes.
And all of us, for several states, are very close to the border. So our viewers are interested about these issues. And how do you tie in with these border issues? How does that affect you and what you do?
Well, primarily what we've been doing is, as we are getting clients coming in, we serve them in the best way that we can. One of the things that we're finding now is, because of the economic times, it's very difficult for people who are wanting to get immigration status to be able to even afford to process the cases.
And this also ties in with the new law, SB 1070?
Well, SB 1070 is something that has just been recently passed. I don't know if people are aware. It's been very much in the media. But it's a type of a law that it makes this state require police officers, actually, on reasonable suspicion, to stop and ask somebody their immigration status. It does require that there be some sort of a break of, or at least a suspected breaking of the law, either state, local, or municipal ordinance type law. and then some sort of reasonable suspicion that the person might be an undocumented immigrant. And so what it does is it opens the door wide open for people to, because of race or color or some other reason, to be stopping and questioning. And this is something that has raised a lot of concern, not just by people in Arizona, but all across the United States, as well as foreign countries.
Oh wow! Yes, of course.
I was just reading today that they're estimating a possibility of, in Phoenix alone, over the next 5 years, because of the backlash of this particular law, it could cost as much as $90 billion in revenue because of lack of tourism, and because people will not be bringing their corporations and various kinds of work to the area.
A lot of potential backlash, and I'm actually kind of glad to see the backlash myself. I don't agree with, I just don't agree with that particular law. I definitely do not agree with it. And I will also just really quickly want to add that I'm always a little concerned about the border control and probable cause, because I know that every time I just go out south of the border and go driving around the countryside enjoying our scenery, I always get pulled over by Border Patrol. Almost always, yes. And they don't give me any reason, and of course, you know, I'm polite to them and stuff like that. But the bottom line is that I don't think they're using probable cause, and so that bothers me. And I think it's maybe just the way they do things. I think that we really ought to be asking the Border Patrol to have more probable cause, and that's just one issue out of many.
And actually, the wording they're using is reasonable suspicion, but that can be interpreted almost any way. And that's the problem with the law. And I know that there have already been lawsuits filed to try to stop this law, which, if it does go forward, it will be coming online in August of 2010. So we've got a few more months. But I do know that people are very upset about it. I know that people have talked to me about moving out of state already. I know that it's causing a lot of people, even locally in Tubac, to realize that their profits are going down because people are stopping coming to their shops. I've heard that there's going to be boycotts of people crossing into Nogales to do shopping. So I know the Mexican government is very distraught about this.
Absolutely.
I've heard that people bringing in professional baseball players, for example, don't want to bring them into the state. So it's happening all over, that people are having, you know, qualms about what is Arizona doing.
So when people come to you and bring these issues, do you ever have anything that you tell them that they can do personally to help with this situation?
Well, I certainly do. I tell them that it's really important for them to be notifying their congresspeople, to not sit silent, and if there is some way that they can be writing the governor or to be out there joining a protest. There's many different ways people can be active, and now more than ever, people need to be active. It's so crucial for all of us to realize that if by our inactivity, we are really helping to promote these kinds of things. And so we have one choice. If you don't say anything, then you're supporting it. If you do say something,
absolutely, consensus. You're supporting it through consensus. If you're quiet, you're saying it's fine with me because I'm quiet, and that is a part of consensus. So I'd like to go to another segment very soon, and I would like to end this one with, I think, what your best words of advice in our first segment is. Don't say that you're consenting to this through silence. Do something if you don't like the way this sounds. So say something if you don't like the way it sounds, because people that do like the way it sounds are going to say something. And when we get back, we're going to talk a little bit about reform. And so let's move on forward and have some music. And me and Salinas will be back with you very shortly. And she's already enlightened me as to how I can help with the situation. And thank you. Hey, Rudy.